Dr. Acklin. Good to have you here with us.
Awesome.
And just so folks know, this is a man that's a neurologist extraordinaire. And here he is, a brand partner, just like me, in LifeWave and using the light technologies, the X39 and our other patches in his own practice. Right, doctor?
I love your energy, Sunshower, and thank you. I don't know if I'm neurologist extraordinaire because neurologist extraordinaire never sees the patient again, right?
Oh, all
And
right.
that's a distinction I think that we can help people fire their doctors. And that's actually successful medicine, but that's not going on a lot in a lot of hospitals and clinics and practices these days.
Yep, you got to kind of open-minded to be part of LifeWave, and you have to have an open heart. Yeah? Yeah.
And you
So,
do.
thank you. Same to you. And for our guests and our, say, new brand partners that have just joined LifeWave, would you go ahead and just kind of re-explain stuff that, Gregory passed on about the stem cells? I mean, how do they work?
They work better when X39 is on.
That's for sure.
As he said, paired with good nutrition and hydration. And it crossed my mind as Gregory was sharing there. Each of us has something we wish we could quit, right? I would invite everybody to do a little soul searching, do a little introspection. Life is our ability to step into glee and the next best version of ourselves is partly the success of us being able to identify the habits that don't work. So everybody just take a look, in the next little week or so, and what do you want to get rid of? And the technologies are not a magic wand. They don't help that happen right away, but X39 does give the body an immediate competence. And so making the shift and letting those habits go is simpler for people.
Right. And so just really briefly, how would you say X39 works?
Well, it puts the body's cells back into a space where each one of their songs is being sung better, right? We are light beings. Without the electromagnetic field and without our light communication, various light communications inside the body, cell-to-cell communication doesn't happen. And DNA actually emits light, biophotons, as instructions to the other things that we think are biochemistry, right? An enzyme and a protein, we learned in science class, interact, but they don't. They're just there unless an instruction is coming. And if the instruction of the energetic fingerprint is proper and the light frequency is proper, then we go ahead and we finish that metabolic process.
Metabolic, meaning?
Well, we're 100 trillion cells, and they're all coordinated, and they're all coordinated in a way that helps the body find a new equilibrium, right? We have a new alignment. And when we're healthy and surrounded by healthy thoughts, food, people, etc., it's pretty easy when that's the ecosystem. This is a challenging place these days. We're in a tough time. And that doesn't mean go away and hide. That means optimize yourself. And we like to talk about the longevity of X39. The long game is the fun game, right? Definitely give it a month. For every decade that your driver's license says that you're old. But the fun game is after you've gotten to a place where you're doing great, don't stop, because how much better can it get? And I don't think any of us is walking around with a concept of, wow, I've never, ever, ever felt better, right? And if I don't feel better tomorrow, by the way, I'm not stepping into a regenerative space, and I'm not letting go of today's version, which, let's be honest, has flaws, right? We all have flaws in our thinking and our processes and our habits. And what if we could get help? And David gave us help, and X39 was born, and all of a sudden we have a new way of aligning with life and handling the challenges, right? We meet face to face, and really that's the operative question. can you handle what's coming at you? Can you handle what's happening in your day? And again, truthfully, most of us are not. Most of us in the modern times are running from things that we don't have the capacity to handle.
So
This,
in effect, Dr. Acklin, would you say that we're offering hope to people?
I would say we're offering prophecy to people, right?
Ah,
These are not predictions and they're not forecasts. This is actually a prophecy. And David speaks these languages. He speaks the metaphysics of um, the ballistic, the already done, right? The it is doneness. And it's just a matter of when and how. So, we help people step in. We hold their hand along the way. We like to say, keep a nice journal, keep a nice patch journal, keep track, and keep in communication with the people that you're working with. And little by little, not only does the quote individual get better, but all of a sudden we participate more. There's that sacred participation. We step into a space where we're more willing to be in community. And then all of a sudden we're getting the feedback that we really deserve. Everybody wants to be a contribution. And I think that's our divine right. I really do.
I totally agree with you. It came to me through being on another Zoom call with LifeWave that we're kind of like first responders for the human race. I kind of like that expression, do you?
Beautiful.
Yeah. So let me ask you a couple more questions. How does one get the maximum benefit from X39? Like, what should they expect? What kind of commitment? You mentioned something about using X39 for at least a month for every decade that you've been alive, correct?
Yeah, everything we've just covered, and then keep track in what will become. I like to suggest to people that your ability to pay attention today and your ability to identify the pluses and the minuses on your menu of life will change. And so, give yourself credit for making progress and tell your story. I'm a big believer in what I call taking ground, the pay it forwardness of telling the story. And that's why this community thrives, is because people aren't bragging when they tell their story. They're giving the gift of hope, as you say, or prophecy. They're giving the gift of completing the cycle of the thing that looked like their physical healing, right? What if the cycle of the healing is infinitely, right? And the telling of the story actually, even though it happens, quote, after on the timeline, we're starting to understand the metaphysics of this, and David talks about this. The telling of the story actually is part of the mechanism. And if you don't follow through, we have a lot of athletes, a lot of golf stories. If you don't follow through on your golf swing, you haven't finished the job. If you haven't followed through on your tennis swing, you haven't finished the job. And if you haven't followed through on the success that you find in life, and give it away, y'all. Yeah, right. That's the completion of the job.
I love that you use the word success. And, LifeWave is a place of upliftment. And it helps if a person actually believes that these patches can actually work for them. That's what I've heard from several doctors. And they don't even have to really touch your body. I mean, I have one right here on my bracelet with a little bit of bling. How does that possibly work?
Well, the body has an electromagnetic frequency, and not just transmitting, but receiving. So there are little nanoparticles in the patches, crystals, think of it as prisms, that reflect back the body's own signature. There's nothing in the patch that goes in the body. It's non-transdermal, not a chemical. It amplifies the body's own voice, and that aura, if you will, goes at least 3 inches out from the body, and probably more, and probably infinitely. But the patches are clinically proven to be effective if they're within 3 inches of the surface of the body.
Of anybody's body. My cat loves them.
Yeah, in fact, we even have people who, surreptitiously slap an eon on their wrist and slip it under their spouse's pillow. Yeah.
There's always a way.
There's always a way.
There's a way.
Yeah.
So I'd like to wrap it up right now. If you'd like to just say some final comments to our audience, I would love that.
I was thinking pretty strongly about how we shift to using fat as a fuel source. You asked about what's metabolism. Healthy, thriving metabolism is a body that can use fat as a fuel source, and fat is the building block. Every single one of our 100 trillion cells has a lipid membrane. This thing up here in our noggin is mostly fatty, and the way that the fats communicate with each other is something magical, and it's something we're going to hear a lot about, I think, when the water machine comes out, and we've got some brand new, very, very exciting conversations coming. This
Yes, we
is
do.
just a patch technology company anymore. This is a very forward-thinking community led by a brilliant scientist.
Very, very visionary scientist, CEO, founder that we have in David Schmidt. And thank you so much for coming and joining us again, as we love to have you on these calls. Thank you so much, Dr. Tom.
Love being here. Love you.
Love you.
Well, thank you both. Thank you, Dr. Tom. Thank you, Sunshower.